Hey guys, welcome to AppCode. In this video, we are going to continue IntelliJ Idea plugin development. This is the episode number 4. In this tutorial, we are going to continue building Maven version updater plugin, which is we started in episode number 3. And in this video, we will be covering PSI element and basically what are the PSI means and slight usage of it. And next we are gonna update file content using PSI. Basically the POM file version we are gonna update using this PSI element thing, right? So I'm back in the application we were creating in the plugin, and I got this kind of red mark, red error from the plugin after I finished the video. So we need to fix this one. Basically what we need to have is we need to remove this constructor with these things, and we need to call this one with maven DOM project model dot class constructor, right? And then it's kind of fixed. Okay, so next thing is I'm going to cover here is in earlier video we showed that there was only dependencies newer version thing, but I thought to append the version to this one, so we have placed holder here. So in the this message usage we can pass that placeholder value as in here, right? So that's something to add to the earlier video, and let's continue the development now. Okay guys, so let's start the development, right? So here in the previous session I told you that we can get the dependency map using generate manage dependency action, but actually we don't want that anymore, right? So we can actually get the dependencies in the POM file using this method, right? So this will bring the all dependencies in the POM file, right? So I'll extract a variable from here which is POM model, right? So we have all the dependencies here and the POM model. So now we need to search for these dependencies versions, right? So for that I'm gonna use something called new maven artifact search, right? This is inside in the IntelliJ indices package, right? So we can use this for searching purposes, right? So now we need to iterate over the dependencies and find out the latest version, right? So for that I'm gonna iterate over this list, and we need to get group ID and artifact ID from of the dependency, right? Okay, so now we have group ID and artifact ID. Now we can search for particular artifact using group ID and artifact ID and get the list of versions indexed, right? So search for the project, we can get this as this. Okay, so then we need to pass a pattern, and it's like group ID, artifact ID, and version, right? Those three are separated by colon, and this thing can contain star wildcard, right? So now what we need is to get exact list of versions for the exact group ID and artifact ID. So I'll pass group ID and artifact ID and leave version as it is, right? We need to pass something big to get all the versions available. Okay, so now we have set of results, right? Then we need to iterate over this result and get the latest version of processing dependency. So from the set of versions of the first result, I get the first one, and we can check its group ID against our group ID of the checking dependencies, and then artifact ID. If this matches, then we found the artifact and we can get the version of this one because it's the top of the list, right? So that method should work. If not, there may be some scenarios that this version not be the latest one, so let's do this way right now, but later on we can change it, right? So basically we can get version from here that would be the latest version, right? So I'll have a simple s out here, and we can copy this thing, right? So okay, and I'm gonna remove the message and this super call. Now we need to do some POM file processing because this might be a multi-module project, and there might be multiple POM files, right? So to that we can use maven DOM project processor utils class, and we need to process children recursively, and let's have processor here, right? This is for the process children recursively, and same as we need to process parents also, and we need pass a processor here. So I just extract this one as processor. Now we can pass it to this one, right? So basically it process parent project and child's recursively, right? So now we have to move this for block inside of this process method, right? Okay, so now it's good to go. Let's debug it and find out whether we did these changes correctly, right? So this might get some time. Okay, now application started in the sandbox environment. So this is our project, and now inspection is going on, and we got the heat here. So now we can evaluate this one by pressing Alt and move the mouse over to the line, right? So we can evaluate, and we should get the latest version here, right? Latest version of this artifact ID and group ID is 1.1, right? So let's again evaluate one. So now we should get the next one, right? Okay, so we are almost in the right place, right? So now we need to add the problem saying that this is having a latest version, right? For that I'm gonna inspect some class, this one. It is in the Maven plugin source, which is called Maven duplicate dependency inspection, right? There's a method called add problem. So we are gonna get this one to get an idea and fix according to our requirement, right? So I'll paste this here, and in this method we need to pass dependency and dependencies and hold, right? We don't need that actually, this loop, right? So and also this if. Okay, so basically we need this dependency only, right? And okay, so we need to pass this dependency, and we don't need this one. So I'll explain why these are not required, right? So okay, so model is coming from, yes, this one. Okay, we can get it by this thing. Okay, also we can actually pass this model, right? Okay, so we can press Ctrl Alt P and pass a model here, right? And we can remove these dependencies and remove these things, right? Okay, so now we are good to go. So here we need to pass dependency and holder, which is the DOM element annotation holder. That's something that add the error like this, right? So this yellow bars are adding by that as in here possible null pointer. As in here we can add warning or some hint using that annotation hold, right? So in the create link test, what we are doing is we do the navigation part. A link, basically the tooltip you can see here, right? Okay, so next thing we need to pass version here, and we need to change this bundle thing, right? Because we have this Maven inspection bundle, and we need to change the message as we need, right? So this is the message we're gonna display there, right? We need to pass version here. Okay. So, right, let's press Ctrl Alt P again and extract. Okay, something is okay, so let's pass it here, string version. Now it's okay, right? We don't need actually link test. Yeah, we need to pass link test class version. Okay, actually let's go back and see am I doing this correctly. right? So we get the annotation here, and okay, so let's do it as link test and version, right? And we need to call this one from here, right? So let's add problem, and we need to pass this dependency and latest version, right? It's complaining us about holder, right? Because we need to pass holder as second parameter. So this, okay, so again dependency holder model. Okay, I messed up this one. Holder dependency and module. Okay, now it's okay. So and let's give it a try, right? Okay, application has started, and let's see how it works. We should get a heat whenever the inspection is going on, right? Okay, so now inspection, yeah, I got the heat, and let's send it. Okay, it's working nicely, right? So okay, we got the message dependency as mirror version, latest version is this thing, right? So yeah, something wrong with actually with the message passing, so we'll resolve that one, right? Okay, let's fix the message. So here we are getting HTML href, so we need to change the message into HTML format. So to do that, we need to add HTML and body. We need to close body and again close the HTML tag. Right, so this will be the first thing and this will be the second thing, right? So now let's give it a try, right? So the first placeholder will be the project and second placeholder will be the latest version, right? So actually we need to pass the artifact group and ID also, and you can I think you can do the change to pass that also to the message, right? So while project get started, application sandbox, we'll add local fix for that done also, right? So then we can click alt enter and do the quick fix. Okay, so I have copied some code here and I'll paste it and explain how it works, right? So this is the code. So we need to have, okay, so our application actually has started. So let's see whether our message is correctly appearing, right? So let's do some change and save. Okay, we got the heat. Now it should work, right? Okay, Okay, so now we have message correctly. Autobox unbox dependencies new version, latest version is 1.21, right? So there should be the artifact ID and group ID also, so you can do the change, right? So now let's stop the debugging and I'll explain the local fix, how that works, right? So we need to use local fix class, and using local quick fix base we can pass the quick fix here, right? So there should be a message for the fix. I have named it as use new version, and we need to override this apply fix method. To that we need to pass project and problem descriptor, right? So here we get descriptor.get PSI element. PSI stands for project structure interface, right? It's basically a virtual structure of classes or the files we are working in IntelliJ. So we'll talk about this PSI thing later on in a separate tutorial or the separate episode, so then you can get more idea about how PSI works, right? So every file, every element in the IntelliJ is represented in PSI element or PSI file, right? So it's then easier to work with, right? So it's not kind of language dependent. So basically we have separate file for Java, separate PSI file for XML, and so on, right? So for this moment I'll just get PSI element from the descriptor, and basically this descriptor will be the element we are pressing alt enter, right? So we can have it here. So in here we can get descriptor.get PSI element and find subtext version, right? So because we are adding the error to dependency tag, we can find its subtags using this format, right? Descriptor.get PSI element find subtag version, right? So we get set of versions tags, so that should be a length of one array, because dependency only has one version tag, right? So now we can set the versions text into latest version, right? So that's how it works. So we can have the version here, right? Now it should work, right? Okay, so now this fix should be passed into create problem. As the last argument, right? So now let's try this one, and without debugging I started it in run mode, right? So about this PSI thing, we'll do another episode mainly focus on PSI elements, right? So basically this fix is applying for the annotated, and in the holder annotated element we are applying this fix, so we can get that element as a PSI element. So that's why it is converted as XML tag impl, because it should be a dependency tag, right? Okay, so we got our sandbox up and running, and now we need to change this one and see whether we get our error messages correctly, right? So let's give it some time, and That seems like it's okay. We got the error, right, on top of new version. So we can press alt insert, alt enter, sorry, and use new version. Okay, so we got it correct, and now it's completed as updated as 1.21, right? So import changes, and we can, okay, so we can do the same thing for here, and we got this update, right? Okay, so yeah, we didn't check version version if not versions are same, right? We need to get version as well, right? So this version should not be the same as the latest version. Okay, so we need to move this one a little bit up, right? Okay, so there can be a null pointer exception. This version can be null, right? Okay, so let's check that one also here. Right, now it should work, and here let's check for this module.get project task, right? Okay, now it should work, right? So let's give it a try again. Okay, so sandbox has started, right? Now let's change this one to 116 and do the, yeah, okay, so okay, so okay, so I did a mistake again, right? It's actually not equals, should be not equals. Okay, so let's give it a try again. Silly mistake, right? Okay, sandbox has started again, right? Now we shouldn't get any errors from this one, right? So let's change a bit and see that it's working, right? Without any issue. Okay, so yeah, we got the errors saying new version is available, right? So let's do the quick fix. Yeah, now we are not getting the error again because we fixed that part. Okay, not available during indexing, right? Okay, now it should work, right? Okay, now all the dependencies are updated to latest version, right? Okay, so in this episode we created the newly a plugin from the scratch and using inbuilt Maven plugin sources, and we touch a little bit about PSI elements here, because as you see, when we get the error. For the local quick fix, we are passing this element. It is a PSI element of type XML tag impl, right? So from that we can get find the version tag and do the update as in here, right? So that's how we develop this plugin. So it's, you know, a full featured plugin, and I'll be uploading this one to Jetbrains repository, plugin repository, and I'll make the code available in GitHub, and please see the description for the updates, right? So if you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, please do subscribe, and press bell icon for the notifications for new videos. So in the next episode we'll be covering little bit about PSI elements, and that's my plan to the next episode. And if you have any questions or any you know, scope requirements to learn, please add a comment, and I'll be always looking for the comments and improve the series. Thank you.